What is up, beautiful people? Kirby Hasseman here to try and deliver you just a little bit more marketing joy. And on today's video, I'm going to talk to you about some lessons that I learned on my recent book launch. As many of you know, launched a book called Hit the Target recently, and there were definitely some lessons that I learned that I hopefully can share with you that'll help you in whatever project you're working on right now. Now, before I get started, if you do enjoy these videos, these podcasts, please feel free to subscribe wherever you are listening. So let's dig in. So as I mentioned, just a few months ago, I launched a new book called Hit the Target. It's actually a parable, a story where you get some lessons and we talk about the target marketing framework. Obviously, you can check that out. If you have any questions about that, please let me know. But it's available on Amazon and you can learn more about the book on hitthetargetbook.com. But what were some of the lessons that I learned in going through that process that you might be able to take something away from? That's what I want to dive in here today. So the first lesson is you need to choose you. You need to choose you. And if you do that, you can take on any project. You can do this. So, I think just like a lot of areas in our life, for a long time publishing a book, there's really not that many ways to go about it. And if you wanted to do it in a traditional sense, you had to be chosen. Like the publisher had to decide that your project was actually worth it. And like many things in the world today, that's not necessarily the case today. You get to choose you. You get to decide if you want to take on that project, you want to start that business, you want to write that book. There are so many more options where you can actually do it yourself and have control over the process. I did it through KDP, which is owned by Amazon. So I had a ton of control over, obviously the material, the design, all that sort of thing. There's tools that you can purchase within that. I didn't do any of those. I hired my own designer, hired my own editor. I did all the writing. And so I chose me. And because I chose me, I got to decide when it was out. I got to decide when we launched it. And I like projects where I have a lot more control. And so that's the way I chose to do it. But what I would say to you is, regardless of the project, you get to choose you. You don't have to wait for permission. And that is something that I think many of us have been trained for years through schools, through parents, through whatever, that we want to wait for permission to pick the perfect time to do something. There's no such thing as a perfect time to do something. So if you have, the desire, you're excited about a project, you choose you. And if you do that, then you can really do whatever you want. And if you want to write a book, you want to start a business, you can do that, but you have to choose you. Lesson 2, start building your list early. Start now for that project that's going to be 5 years from now. As I was interviewing Seth Godin one time, and I talked to him about content marketing and building a list and all that sort of thing. And he said, the best time to plant an apple tree was 40 years ago. The second best time is today. So building a list is actually a concept I discuss in the book. I think it's something that we miss as entrepreneurs and marketers. We rely way too heavily on rented media rather than owned media. And that became unbelievably true in the launch of the book because I didn't want to have to do radio ads or TV ads or even pay for Facebook or social media. While those are all good things and they're tools in the toolbox, when you're doing a launch like that, it's deeply personal. And so by having those followers, not only on social media, but that email list, that's when I can reach directly into an inbox and give people a clickable link to actually buy the book. That list becomes, it's so evident how valuable something like that is. So if you want to do a project like this, if you want to write a book, you want to do a new company, start building your list now so that when you do you announce that new product, you get to do it directly to the people who've signed up to do it. So start building that list today. Lesson 3, you are going to be uncomfortable. Man, oh man, did that ever become abundantly clear during the launch of Hit the Target. So one of the things I talk about is reach. Target is an acronym. So T stands for target, identifying that perfect customer. A stands for attract, build that list. R stands for reach, which means reaching across platforms. G is go get it. And the E is enthusiasm and T is track. we've got videos about that. You can check that out. But the R is the place that during the book launch, man, that voice in my head got really, really loud. It was saying, my God, everybody's tired of hearing from you. And I'm the one who's talking about it. I'm the one who's preaching that you need to reach across those platforms. So during that process, it got really loud because I was doing more of it than I was used to. But here's the thing, guys, when you are posting on social media, the algorithm is built as such that a lot of people aren't seeing what you're saying anyway. And so, even though you think you've been out there a million times, and there would be a few people who do see everything, but they're so minor. So you need to be out there even more than you think. And I was living through that during that book launch week, and it was uncomfortable. It was like I was really struggling with it. But one of the things I did to overcome it is I scheduled things out. So in other words, I decided that I wanted to have certain posts on certain days at certain times of the day, all that sort of thing, more than I normally do. But I made that decision when I wasn't emotional about it. I scheduled them out so that I knew that they were going out. And then if I wanted to add to it, or if I wanted to do something in the moment where I wanted to record a piece of content, I could add to it. But I wasn't essentially living with my discipline to make sure that I got the work done, right? I scheduled it out, got it done when I was not emotional. So while the voice was yelling in my head, that wasn't when I was making the decision whether to do another piece of content or not. So you will be uncomfortable. That's one of the lessons. And then the final lesson that I learned that was really, it felt good during the process is let others help you tell your story. Build your tribe. Again, I think part of that's about brand building, but as I started the process of doing the book launch, I reached out to a lot of people and created a Facebook group that was a private group that I gave advanced copies to. I talked through, hey, what's this? We literally talked about what the title of the book was going to be. I shared advanced ideas of what the cover was going to be, and I got feedback from all those folks. And these are people that probably wanted to support me anyway, and I sincerely appreciate you if you're a part of that group. But by bringing them along and giving them so much input during the whole process, I think that gives people even more reason to share your work because they feel like they're a part of it. And then when they feel like they're a part of it, they go out there and share that story. They go out there and buy the book and do the review and then share it on their social media. And I think so many times, just like with reviews, when somebody else says something nice about your project, it's better than when you're saying something nice about your project, right? Because it just has more credibility because they're not making money off of it or any of that. But I think many of us don't take the time to build the tribe. We don't take the time to arm those people who want to tell our story with our story. So if you want to have a project that is successful, and one of the lessons that I learned from the book launch was that I need to let others help me tell my story. So once again, those lessons were, you need to choose you. If you're going to take on a project like that, you can't wait for permission. You need to choose you. Start building your list early. Yesterday, if you can, start, even if it's something that you're planning to do in the future, start collecting that data, start building that audience so that when you have a product launch, you can have that group that's primed to make the announcement too. Understand that you will be uncomfortable. Anytime you're doing something new like this, your voice is going to get really loud in your head that it's not a good idea. And then when you're out there promoting it on social media, that voice gets even louder and tells you what a goofball you are. At least those are the words I think it used for me. And then finally, let others help you tell your story. Build that tribe so that other people are helping you spread the word about your project. So those were just a few of the lessons I learned when I was putting together my book launch and kind of going through the book launch, which is where the lessons really get loud. So I hope that's helpful for you. If you have any questions about the process, please feel free to comment. Shoot me an email, but comment below the video, and I'll do my best to answer those, whether in the comments or I'll create another video around that. One of the things I want to do is to start creating these long form videos again. So if you have any questions, anything you want me to cover, please feel free to let me know. And if these do provide you value, please feel free to subscribe and I will keep them coming. Once again, thank you so much for watching and paying attention. We'll see you next time.